Happy Wednesday. I'm so excited to be here with you guys and really get connected. I'm going to share this into my private Facebook group really quickly. You guys know the drill, okay? Nothing new here. And then we're going to dive right in. So today we're talking about 5 reasons your video content is not converting. So we are streaming right now on TikTok. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram all at the same time, which is so freaking cool, right? But let me know in the comments that you're here, that you're watching, where you're watching from. And I want to know, what is your preferred video platform? Okay, so let me know in the comments. And I actually have some questions that people in my group have dropped that we'll answer at the end. So stick with me till the end because I've got a lot packed in for you today. I want you to leave confident knowing what you need to do in your business when it comes to video content. So sharing this into Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs now and getting this out there. But let me know, what is your preferred video content platform? Are you a YouTuber? Are you on Instagram? Are you on TikTok? Are you more of a written person, like doing threads and Twitter and all those things? Let me know. Okay. So let's dive right in. We are now should be in the Facebook group. So we're good. Unfortunately, some of you may or may not know, but Facebook changed their API settings a couple months back, and it's been a little bit of a pain. So let me pull up my screen. And if you're watching on TikTok, you will want to jump into the Facebook group so that you can see the slides, or if you want to see the slides. If not, stick with me. You'll be able to get some good content out of today. So let's try to present this. Perfect. All right, we're in. 5 reasons your video content is not converting to sales. So this is something I hear often in my programs, the Social Success Club, and in my program, the Social Success Academy, and then of course in my comment sections, in my DMs, right? So you've been putting out all of this content, you're doing all the things you're being told to do, and it's not yielding a sale. So there's different levels of this, right? So we have some people that, and I'm going to try to break some of this down for you today, but there's some people that maybe aren't getting any views, any traction, any visibility at all. That's frustrating, right? And then we have people that are maybe getting visibility, maybe getting views, maybe getting followers, growing their audience, but they're not converting to a sale. So there's 2 different problems at hand, and I'm going to try to break those down for you today. But stick with me till the end because I've got some really good information for you. All right. Let's dive right in. I do like to introduce myself when I do these live trainings. Some of you know me, some of you are brand new. I see people following me on TikTok as we speak. So thank you. I'm so excited to have you in the community. I'm Elise Smith. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Mom of 3. I have built a multi-6-figure business online, on social media, authentically, without being clickbaity. In the last 2.5 years, I've hit over $100,000 in sales in less than 6 months twice. And when I say twice, it's because I started as an agency owner. So when I originally left my job, started my business online, I was a social media manager. So I was a person managing behind the brand. I wasn't really promoting myself. I didn't really have built my brand. And I very quickly realized I didn't like that. I didn't like the clients calling at 4 p.m. saying, hey, can you get this on my social media really quick on a Friday, right? It just wasn't my jam. So I decided to build my own brand, start coaching, start consulting, and start putting out my digital products. So that's why I say I've done it twice, because I used the strategies to build my agency to over 100,000 in 6 months. And then when I turned around and did it for myself and my brand, I did it again. Okay. So everything that I teach you guys is proven methods. Okay. I don't give you concepts. I don't sit here and tell you follow for follow or grow lives or any of that kind of stuff. I'm teaching you things to build a business, not just be an influencer. Okay. So if that's you, you're in the right place. All right. Let's get into what you actually came here for, the nitty gritty. All right. To master your content for sales. And I'm not talking about views today. Visibility is a piece of it, but for sales, right? Because nobody really cares if you have 100,000 followers if you're not making a dime. All right. So to master your content for sales, you need a strategy that's aligned with your offer, which is your offer is your product or service, the transformation you provide people, that showcases your authority. So why should they buy from you, right? A lot of us are selling, not some of us are selling the exact same thing if you're an MRR or affiliate, but some of you are maybe have your own digital product, but there's other people in the world selling it too, right? Very, very, very few people have something that no one else is doing. All right. So you have to showcase your authority. That way people understand why you're credible, why they should choose you to work with. And then that brings leads into your funnel every day. If you're not bringing people into your funnel every day, bringing people into your audience every day, if you're not expanding every day, then your conversions are going to be low. If your funnel has one person in it and your conversion rate 5%, you're going to kind of be stuck. So I'll read this one more time so that you understand. There's multiple things to a strategy. It's not just trending audios or hashtags. Okay, that's not what a strategy is. So to master your content for sales, you need a strategy that is aligned with your offer, showcases your authority, and brings leads into your funnel daily. All right. And I'm going to break each piece of this down today here on this live. Okay. So stick with me till the end. I'm going to try to keep this to about 40 minutes today because I actually have a one-on-one call at 1 o'clock. All right. So framework. The first mistake, because today's title is 5 reasons, 5 mistakes, right, that your content isn't converting, is your framework. Your framework is essentially how you film, write, edit your content, and what takes your viewer from the problem that you solve or their desire that they want to reach to the solution, which is your offer, to the answer, which is your call to action, a conversion. Okay. Problem, solution, answer. And your framework is important, even if it's not video. So even if you're writing content, even if you're a blogger, even if you're on Pinterest, whatever, the framework of marketing in general is essentially how you film, write, and edit your content. All right. And how it takes people from the problem to the answer, which is buying your thing. Okay. So know that your framework is the biggest mistake that I see. If you're someone who is struggling with low views, you either have a visibility issue or a problem issue. Okay. And usually when you use your metrics, we diagnose which one it is. So visibility means your content's not reaching people. Okay. It's not getting pushed out by the algorithm. It's not, and I don't blame algorithms. They change every day, right? Instagram's doing, I don't even know what right now. TikTok's had some problems. You can't control the algorithm. What you can control is your content. So with low views, you either have a visibility problem or answer issue. Okay. I'm sorry, a problem issue. So with visibility, it's either poor quality content. Okay. That could be lighting. That could be, audio. That could be, it's not appealing at all. It's not something somebody will want to watch. It could be if you are filming or taking Canva videos and you're not putting them in the right quality. It could be a lot of different things. But if it's a poor quality video, no one's going to watch it. Okay, period. That's easy. If it's poor consistency. So another piece of visibility issue is consistency. Maybe you're someone who, you wanted to do 3 videos a day. You start showing up, you're doing 3 videos a day every single day. 3 weeks in, you burn out. You're like, this ain't worth it. I'm not getting any sales. And then you ghost your platform for a week. And then you get remotivated and recharged and you go back in. You're not consistent. Okay. Not consistent. So 1, the algorithms favor consistency. I got somebody on TikTok asking about the replay. So the replay is available in my free Facebook community. So if you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, you can jump in my group in my Stan store for free and get the replay and see all the slides. So poor consistency is another reason for low views. So that could be the algorithm, they favor consistency. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, doesn't matter. They're all a business and they're all wanting to keep people on the platform longer. So if you're not consistent in your content, consistently showing up, they're not going to reward you with views, visibility. Okay. And that doesn't mean that you have to post 11 times a day. Okay. But whatever you decide, it needs to be consistent. And even if you decide, hey, I'm not posting every day, there are people on Instagram that I follow that post 3 times a week. That's what they do. They post 3 reels a week and it's working for them. But they're showing up every day in their stories. They're answering their comments. They're answering their DMs every day. So they're still consistently on the platform and the algorithm rewards them for that. Another reason visibility, because consistency, you have to be consistent in your posting, in your messaging, and in your branding. Okay. So consistency is not just like, hey, I showed up today. So another piece of visibility issue is poor consistency in your messaging and your marketing. So potentially one day you're posting about this, the next day you're posting out that. On Friday, you decide to put a cat video out, and the algorithm doesn't know who you're trying to reach. Your marketing is changing every single day. So they cannot place you in the right area of the platform for you to be able to get visibility. So you're not consistent in your messaging. And then another piece of visibility issue could be you're not clear, right? Again, this is like maybe you're posting tips about Instagram or whatever, and you're not super clear about what exactly problem you solve. Some of that can come down to keywords. Some of that can come down to, if your content is actually grabbing people, stopping people. But visibility usually comes down to quality, consistency, or not being clear. Okay. So if you're struggling with low views, that could be one of your problems. Another problem is that you might be having with low views is the problem itself. Okay. So what I mean by that, we talked about problem, solution, answer, right? So this is the first piece of your framework, the problem. Your hooks. Your hooks aren't grabbing anyone. They're not stopping the scroll. Maybe they're not clear. Maybe more than likely, probably like 99%, it's not showing a transformation or an offer. Or maybe the other percent is it's not speaking to your ideal client. And we'll get into that a little bit and further. Another piece of this is your offer. So again, your transformation is not clear. So if you're getting low views, people don't understand why they should even stop and watch your video. Okay. So there's no transformation. That is what's going to get people to stop and watch long enough for you to get visibility. And all the algorithms, doesn't matter what platform, reward view and watch time. Okay. They reward watch time because your job, they give you this platform for free, and your job is to keep people on it longer. So they reward those that have longer watch times. And if your offer statement, your transformation statement is not clear, people don't know why they should watch your video. They're not going to. And the algorithm is going to suppress your video. You're not holding up your end of the bargain, is the way they look at it. Okay. If you are someone who struggles with low engagement, so maybe you're getting the views, you're like, okay, this video got 700 views, 800 views, 900 views, 50,000 views, doesn't matter. But no one's commenting. No one's clicking my link. No one's saving it. No one's sharing it. No one's engaging with it at all. It's either a solution issue or an answer issue. So again, we went back to your framework, problem, solution, answer. So I'm going to break this down. If it's a solution issue, again, it comes down to your hook. So people are watching the video. They're a little intrigued by your hook, right? But it might not show a transformation, so they don't engage with it. They don't ask questions. Maybe you put a video out there and it goes viral, but it doesn't get any engagement because people don't understand what exactly you're doing, what the hell your offer even is, or why they should care. So they're not going to comment. They're not going to ask questions, and they're definitely not going to click your link. It could be that your content is generic. So if it's getting pushed out by the algorithm, it's getting views, it's getting visibility. Maybe you used a trending audio, which helped you. Maybe it's a hot topic, or your SEO and your keywords were great, but the content's not anything they haven't already seen. It's a copy paste of someone else. It's, some basic viral content. Because I can tell you right now, I could go viral every single day if I wanted to. I know exactly what goes viral. But my goal is not to go viral. Right? I don't want to post a bunch of growth content and grow my audience to 100,000 followers and then kill my engagement because they're not interested in my offer. So that should never be your goal. But if your content's too generic, it's not any different. It's not something they haven't already heard. It's not something they're seeing all over their feed elsewhere. They're not going to engage with it. They might watch it and then they're going to say, I've seen this. That's the same thing Jill posted yesterday. Oh my God. It's not forcing engagement. And then it could also be an offer issue, right? So again, I know I'm throwing a lot out at you, but your metrics teach you which one of these problems, how to diagnose this, okay? So it could be an offer issue again. That's not showing the transformation. So what happens when you have a solution issue is that you get the views, but you don't get the engagement or sales. And that's because people don't either believe, or your content's not making them believe that you are the solution to their problem. Okay. And then it could be an answer issue. So again, problem, solution, answer. If it's towards the back end of the framework, it's a call to action problem or it's a branding problem. So if your call to action's like, drop me in the comments and I'll DM you. DM you for what? Me, what are you going to DM me about? What are we talking about? Right? It's not compelling. It doesn't tell them why they should take action. It doesn't tell them what problem you're solving. If it's a branding issue, again, you just look like everyone else. You just look like everyone else. You're blending in. Maybe you're scrolling for, an hour a day, trying to find some ideas, get some inspiration. You're like, oh, this video went viral. I'm going to go recreate it. It doesn't look any different. It's not branded to you. It's not anything they haven't heard. All right. Now, we talked about low views. We talked about low engagement. Let's talk about low sales. Okay. So maybe you're getting engagement. You got a ton of people in your comments. They're like, oh my God, you're the best. Thank you. I needed this today. You're friend zoned, pretty much. Okay. You're friend zoned. Everybody loves you. You have become the go-to profile of all the people that need all the resources, but they're not buying anything, right? That's an answer problem. That's an answer issue. So that's towards the back end of the framework. That means you've nailed your problem. You know what your audience needs. You've nailed your solution. You know how to provide value, but you have not nailed the answer, which is the call to action and the authority. Okay. So if it's an answer issue, it's call to action. Again, your call to action is not compelling, right? You're like, drop info in the comments and I'll send you the deets. The deets on what? Why do I need the deets? Right? They're confused. It's not compelling them to take action. If it's an offer issue, maybe your offer is great. If they're loving your content, they're engaging, and you're getting new audience, you probably know what you're doing. Okay. You probably have good value, but your offer, you're not showcasing the transformation. So they're not buying it because they don't believe that it will work for them. They don't see it as a no-brainer to solve their problem. And it could also be an authority issue. So being an authority in your space is why people should work with you. What makes you credible? Why should they buy from you instead of Susie? Right? So if you're in the low sales category and you've nailed the views, you've nailed, the engagement, but they're not buying, they're like, oh, Elisa's great. I love her. She posts the best tips every day, but I don't know if she can help me. So they know your offer's good, but they don't trust you as an authority that you are the one to help them. Okay. So these are all pieces of the puzzle. Again, video content strategy is not about trending audios and hashtags. That's an element of it. That is not the whole strategy. And when I ask you, what's your video strategy? And you tell me, well, I post 3 times a day. That's a posting schedule. That's not a strategy. Okay. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So I want to break this down because I know I threw a lot at you that was just like step 1, right? Just to understand this a little bit more. If your framework goes from problem to solution, so you got your hook, you got your problem. You're like, here's 5 ways for you to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks, right? Whatever. You got your problem. And then your framework, your caption, the way you film your content, your email, doesn't matter, goes straight to the solution, but there's no answer piece. Without a compelling answer, it won't compel them to purchase. And that's how you get friend zoned. Okay. So like a good example, your hook's great. You give some value in the caption, and then you're like, come at me and I'll send you the deets. Remember we talked about, they're like, deets on what? Why do I need the deets? You just gave me all the information, right? There's no compelling call to action. You're missing the answer. If your framework goes from problem straight to answer, it won't make sense to your viewer because it's missing the solution, right? So an example of this, your hook's great. Here are 3 ways that you're going to make $100,000 in the next year to pad your retirement, right? Whatever. And then you talk a little bit about, I know you're staying up late at night. You're worried about retirement. You don't have enough in the savings. You're making that connection. And then you go, come at me and I'll send you all the information you need to know to make $100,000. That you didn't explain anything about the transformation. All you did was give them a really good problem. You kind of like, dug into their problem a little bit, made them feel a little bit worse about themselves. And then you were like, come at me. You didn't explain anything about the transformation, how you would help them, what makes you credible to be the person to help them, any of that, right? You went straight from problem to answer. And I'm breaking this down so you see that this has to be, these are compounded. If you need all three elements in your content framework. The last example is if you go from problem to solution and it's unclear, the answer is not going to matter regardless because your audience won't identify with it. So an example of this is maybe you're selling an Instagram guide on how to grow, 1,000 followers on Instagram in the next 30 days. Maybe that is your answer. That is your product, right? And you go make a piece of content that's like, here is exactly how you're going to get 1,000 email people on your email list in the next month. And then in your solution, you're talking about email marketing. And then you're like, come at me and I'll get you my Instagram growth guide to grow 1,000 followers in the next 30 days. What the heck does that answer have to do with the problem, right? You said the problem was email. Now you're talking about, so they have to connect. And that's where so many people are making the mistake because their hook is good. It might be good, but then they're like, come to me and I'll send you the information on getting started on my digital marketing business. And it's not connecting. It's not making sense. Okay. So let me know in the comments if you're understanding this, if you're resonating with this. And we're going to move on to step 2. I'll come back and answer the questions in the comments at the end of the video. So number 2, another mistake I see a lot of people making is they're using more adjectives than verbs, right? So adjectives describe, verbs move. And if you want conversions, if you want sales, you got to get people to move through your sales funnel. Okay. So they create action and engagement. Verbs create action and engagement. And that's because they paint pictures. Right. So I posted a TikTok about this yesterday and it actually went pretty well. But instead of saying, this is the most comprehensive guide, it teaches you, it's fabulous, it's amazing, it teaches you everything you need to know, blah, blah, blah. Like you're just describing everything instead of action. When you use verbs, you're telling people the action it will do for them, the transformation. So verbs paint pictures, which makes the emotional connection. Okay. And I think the example I used in the TikTok yesterday was something along the lines of, maybe you're selling a health and wellness meal plan guide or whatever. Instead of saying, this is the most fabulous meal plan guide that's going to, give you all the tools and resources you need to feel better about yourself and feel amazing. Like you're just using all these adjectives. You need to use verbs. This meal plan guide is going to help you, melt the fat in the next 30 days and, put them pairs of jeans on that pair of jeans on that's been in the back of your closet for the last 60 days. Like you're telling people they can see visually the fat melting off their body and putting on those jeans they've been wanting to wear for a long ass time, right? So that is the emotional connection. When they can self-identify in your content and the transformation you're promising them, it's done. So skip the fluffy ass words about how beautiful it is and how amazing it is. Skip it. All right, let it go. Using verbs shows the transformation. Showing the transformation helps them self-identify. So I very often get people in my comments and my questions, my questions on my stories that are like, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound salesy, right? The best way to not sound salesy, because I hate to tell you, you're in sales. If you're trying to make money online, you're in sales, period. All right. You're either selling yourself as an influencer and trying to get people to follow your journey, or you are selling a product or service offer, whatever. The best way to not sound salesy is to make your audience self-identify in your content. What that means is they listen to your content and they say, she's in my head. She knows me, right? That's how they feel. They're like, oh my God, how did she know that? Everybody feels like that? Or was it just me, right? That's how people self-identify. And the only way to do that is to make an emotional connection and show a transformation. If not, you're going to be talking constantly about how many pages are in your guide and nobody cares. They don't care. Okay. Verbs sell the benefits over the features. So when you're using verbs, It sells the benefits, what you can do for them. When you're selling the features about how many modules are in your course, nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares. All right. Number 3, your call to action formula. So we talked about earlier that part of your framework, problem, solution, answer, is a call to action. If your call to action is not compelling, clear, and concise, no one's going to do it, right? So I don't care if you tell them to follow you, save this video, comment for more, DM me this, click my link. Doesn't matter what the call to action is. If it's not compelling them to take action, they're not going to. All right. So your call to action has to include what they get, the transformation. Why the hell should they comment the word? Why should they click your link? What is the transformation they can expect to do this, right? You know, people are very much wired, what's in it for me? Okay. Humans are wired that way, period. If they don't know what's in it for you or what's in it for them, they're not going to do it, period. So your call to action has to include what they get, the transformation, when or how they get it, and it needs to either handle their objections or talk about fulfilling their desires, okay? So your call to action has to include all of this. Drop me in the comments for the deets is not enough. It's not enough because they're questioning, is this really for me? And if they have to question, is this really for me? They're not going to do it, okay? So your call to action also has to bring them full circle from your video topic. Okay. And we talked about this a few seconds ago with the Instagram guide example. But if there is a disconnect between your content and your call to action, it's going to confuse your audience, right? It's going to confuse your audience. So an example of this is maybe you go create a video about, 3 ways to lose weight before your wedding. I don't know, whatever your topic is, right? And then your call to action's like, come at me and I'll send you all the deets on Roadmap 3.0. What? And y'all might be laughing, but I do content audits in my programs. I have done content audits in my TikTok Tactics Challenge. And I have people that pay just to get a content audit. Like, please just review and tell me what I'm doing wrong. And I see this all the time. Most of the time, it comes down to an offer problem. You don't know your offer. You don't know your transformation. So maybe you know the pain points and the desires of your ideal client. Maybe you've done that work. So your hooks are good. They're talking to real problems. They're talking to real solutions. But then your call to action doesn't make sense. Here's 5 ways to save money for retirement, in the next 6 months. Get legacy builders. Like, what? No, I'm not saying that can't be a solution. But if your call to action is not clear about how it's a solution, what they're going to get, what the transformation is, when and how they get it, and handle their objections or tell them that it will fulfill their desire, they're not going to take it. They're not going to do it. It's that easy. So your call to actions have to be compelling, period. It's that simple. And I think I've got some examples on this next slide. Here you go. Here are a couple call to actions that I've seen regularly. And we're going to look at them, and I'm going to tell you, well, I've got it on the screen for those of you that can see the screen. TikTok, I'm going to read it out for you. So here's one I see often. Drop info for the deets. Drop ready for the deets. Drop me for the deets. Whatever. I see this all the time. Info on what? Deets on what? Why do I want the info? Why do I want the deets? And how are you going to get me the information? Right? So you did not tell them, if we go back to our formula for call to action, you didn't tell them the transformation. There's nothing in there about the transformation. You're not telling them how they're going to get it. Drop info for the deets and I'll DM them to you, or I'll email them to whatever. They ain't got a clue how they're even going to get it. Right? And it's not overcoming an objection or talking about fulfilling a desire. So why do I want these deets? What do these deets matter? Right? It's that simple. It's that simple. Second example, follow me for more. I see this one a lot. Follow you for more what? More what? What's in it for me, right? Why should follow you for more videos? I see enough of those on my FYP. I don't need any more videos, right? How does this relate to the point of the video? So, and if you're telling them follow me for more what? More on what? What do you talk about? What's your topic? And how does that relate to the hook? You got to make a connection there. Another one I see, drop ready and I'll send you the info to get started. So this one's a little bit better. I'll send you the info, right? How are you going to send it to them? Get started on what? Why should I start? Like, it's not clear. And I'm telling you this, I'm not just trying to nitpick here. Your ideal client, your audience has these questions. And if they have to ask themselves a question, they're not going to do it. So your call to actions are not clear. That is like a huge reason you're not getting engagement, and you're not getting opt-ins, you're not getting link clicks, no one's on your email list, and people aren't buying. Because if they won't do your call to action, then they're definitely not going to buy. It's that simple. Okay. All right. Reason number 4, you're not being specific enough. And a lot of times this comes down to belief in yourself, confidence in yourself. You end up, maybe using ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. Okay. So I love it. I use it probably 85 times a day, but it cannot be your end all be all. Okay. So you're not being specific enough on who, on what, or on why, right? And this goes across every step of the framework. Your problem. Whose problem is it? What is the actual problem? And why should they solve it, right? You're not being specific enough on the solution. Who's the solution for? What is the solution? And why do they need the solution? And you're not being clear and specific enough on the call to action. Who is the answer for? What is the answer? And why do they need the answer? What is it going to do for them, right? So you're not being specific enough in your content. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, this comes down to belief and confidence. Because maybe you're kind of keeping it surface level because you're scared that if you are too specific, it's not going to resonate with people. Maybe you're worried that if you're too specific, then people are going to, like if you're very specific on results or transformation, that people are going to question, well, what results have you had? How many sales have you had? You're scared of those questions, right? You're fearful of that pushback. And you got to move past it. Like if I'm put my coach hat on for a second, you got to get over that. Okay. I've had results. I have results, daily results. I have success. I have the audience, and I still get nasty ass comments. It ain't going to go away. All right. It ain't getting better. Just know that. You have to use literal language. So you're not being specific enough with literal language that your ideal client uses. If they have, if they have to consider anything, it's a no. We talked about that with the call to action. But if you're not being specific enough with literal language, like actual language they would use, okay? So this is why I bring ChatGPT up, because I swear sometimes that thing spits out words I have to Google, or I have to ask it. I have to say, what does that word even mean? Right? Like, what? And I should have made a list of them because they're actually hilarious. I might make me a Google sheet of some of the words it gives me. But like an example of this is you're not using literal language and painting that picture. So when you're saying, skyrocket your sales and things like that, try to make it literal. What would it look like for them? Daily payment notifications in your inbox, your Stripe notifications going off. Like, what is the literal language, right? Is your content around their actual problem or desire? This is huge, huge. Like I said, I've done hundreds of content audits, and 9 times out of 10, if you're not getting any engagement, any sales, your content's not around their actual problem or desire, or the call to action doesn't make sense. So an example of this, maybe you are trying to reach, that stay-at-home mom that wants to make, $1,000 a month so that she can shop on Shein, not ask her husband for permission kind of thing. All right. She has no digital marketing experience. She has no understanding of what a funnel or email marketing is or why she even needs it. And your content is talking about, here are the 3 biggest mistakes you're making when you start your digital marketing business. She didn't want to start a business. She didn't want to be an entrepreneur. Like, she doesn't understand that that's even the solution for her yet. She doesn't understand that she needs a business. Right now, she's just trying to figure out how is she going to make an extra $1,000 so she can order new bathing suits and her husband not bitch. Your content's not about her actual problem, right? So again, that comes back to being specific enough for your ideal client. It's that simple. That simple. And sometimes your content's good, but again, it's the framework, the way it's set up. So you absolutely could do a video about the 3 biggest mistakes you made when you started your digital marketing business and framework it to her. But it has to be in the form of her desire, right? So something along the lines of, if here are 3 things I would do if I'm trying to make an $1,000 a month to, order to buy whatever I want as a stay-at-home mom or whatever. You just reframe the video. But right now you're framing it to your niche, not your ideal client. And that's why you're not getting any opt-ins, because the only people seeing your content are selling the same shit as you. It's that simple. Okay. And then lastly, does your content show a transformation, or is it fluffy and generic? Right. So again, is there any transformation there? Or is it just like, here's 3 tips. Here's the best way to use ChatGPT. Here's, the number 1 way that you should be filming your content. If it is something that they can go find on Google or ChatGPT themselves, you need to add a little spin on it. Okay. I am not saying that you shouldn't post educational content or valuable content and teach people things. I've made a lot of money doing that. But it has to be presented in a different way. It has to be unique. You have to put your own spin on it, right? It's that simple. If your content's too fluffy or generic and it's a copy paste or looks like a copy paste of what everyone else is doing on the internet, of course you're not going to see any sales. You look like everyone else. Why don't they just go buy from the person that's posting $1 million screenshots? Why would they buy from you? Right? You have to start knowing why people should buy from you and being more specific in your content. I'll give you some examples of this, right? So we talked about on the who, on the what, on the why. Use literal language your ideal client uses. Oh, is that the same damn words? That's the same words. Is it? Look, I missed a slide. All right, I'll give you some examples. I'm good at spitballing. So here we go. Examples. Using literal language, right? So we just talked about the stay-at-home mom who has no digital marketing experience, right? You're using terminology like funnels, and she thinks that's what you use to make sweet tea. Like, she ain't got a clue. Ain't got a clue. Use language that she associates with. Okay. Same thing if you're talking to like a tech geek. Use tech language. Okay. Period. It's that simple. Also, literal language they would use in their life. Right. So financial freedom, time freedom. You got to be careful with those. They're different for everyone. Your version of financial freedom does not look like mine. Your version of time freedom does not look like mine. What does that literally mean for them? Right? What does financial freedom look like for her? So does that mean she can, financial freedom means she can go get groceries without having to check the bank account? Does that mean she can buy an investment property? What does that mean for her? Right? So painting that picture, again, is your content around their actual problem. So you need to do some discovery. You need to go audit your content and see, are you talking to their problem and desire, or are you talking to your niche's problem and desire? If you're using words that you didn't know before you started this business, probably you're targeting your niche, right? So again, if you're trying to target stay-at-home moms and you're trying to sell them a beginner digital marketing course, why do they need to know the fastest way to build their email list? They haven't even started yet. Right? So make sure it's around their actual problem or desire. And then transformation. All of your content needs to show in the problem, solution, answer formatting what their problem is, the solution, how you solve it, and your answer. When you buy my thing, I'm going to help you execute the solution. You need to showcase that in every step, the hook, the call to action, and the caption itself. If you're an A-roll contenter like me, where you actually film your videos, same thing. You're just going to talk it out instead of type it out. Okay. And the fifth and final one is no strategy. And I'm not laughing. I swear I'm not laughing. The amount of people that have no strategy, I understand. Okay, let me back this up before I put my foot in my mouth. Strategy is not something we're born with, right? Most people don't know how to do it. And I hate to tell you, but most digital marketing courses out there, I don't care what program you're in, all right, isn't going to teach you how to build your custom strategy. Some of them don't teach you at all. Some of them are going to give you a blueprint or here's what's worked for other people kind of thing, right? You need your own strategy that is aligned with your offers. And we talked about this in the beginning, because your audience is not the same as your audience, as your audience, as your audience, as your audience. So if you're using some basic strategy that someone told you worked, and you're not speaking to your ideal client, you're not talking about your transformation, your offer, it's not going to resonate. Okay. So you have to have a content strategy. Now that I've beat that like a dead horse, 80% of your content is done in the planning phase. Okay. So if you don't have a strategy, then you're obviously not planning, right? Maybe you're batch creating content. So maybe you're planning a little bit, like you have content in your drafts ready to post just in case kind of thing, but there's nothing strategic about it. It's not aligned to your offer. 80% of your content should be in the planning phase. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday in my programs, the academy and the club, the last week of the month is always content planning. I believe in content planning. Okay. So we sit down, we'll do it in the club tomorrow. We sit down. I usually give them hooks, topics, something. Like I bring it to the table and I say, let's get this done. All right. And so yesterday, while I was on the academy call, I wrote 30 hooks for August for my business. And I gave them to my students, and I gave them like fill in the blank style and said, hey, insert desire here, insert problem here. Like I gave them, these are all fresh hooks. And then I also gave them my examples that I wrote for my business so they could see it in action, like how I actually am going to use these. We got off that calls at 10 every Tuesday, 11:05. I usually run late. I talk a lot. And I filmed 20 of my 30 videos yesterday in an hour and a half. 20 videos. And I don't even put new content out every month. What I teach you in the academy is about rinse and repeat strategies. So most of my content is repurposed, but for August, I wanted to bring something new. I wanted to bring something fresh. But and I don't share this like brag and rub it in that I got 100 videos in my draft right now. I say this because we spent 1 hour planning and I was able to produce math content like that. Okay. And so if you're waking up every single day going, I don't know what to post today to make a sale, I'm out of ideas, my creativity is lacking, I'm so burnt out, I'm so tired, it's because you have no plan. You have no strategy. All right. And I don't know who said this. My husband tells me all the time, failing to plan is planning to fail. It's that simple. Okay. It's part of the reason you're overwhelmed. It's part of the reason you're burnt out. It's part of the reason you don't know what you're doing, because every day it's new. It's something new, right? You wake up and you're like, okay, well, I saw Tammy posted about this yesterday. I'm going to try that because it's working for her. So not only do you not have strategy, but you are executing 10 different strategies every month because you're getting so many ideas on your FYP or your Explore page that you're just all over the place. Okay. When you plan out your content, you can ensure every piece you put out in the world is aligned with your offer. When you're whipping up content on the fly, and I'm not gonna say I don't, if I am a believer in inspired action, okay? And it always comes when I'm driving. So I will pull over in a parking lot in a second and film a piece of content if I get a good idea, okay? And I'll post it right then and there. So I'm not saying you can't slay from the plan. I do take inspired action, but I make sure that every piece of content I put out in the world is selling my offers some way, shape, or fashion. Okay. So when you're whipping up content on the fly just to get something out there, just so you can check it off your checkbox today, what's happening is it's confusing your audience because every single day it's something different, something new. It's not strategic. Planning also allows you to review your analytics, review your metrics to ensure you don't make the same mistakes over and over and over. So if you've been at this for a while and you're not seeing a result, right? You're probably making the same mistakes over and over and over. And that could be that you're changing strategy too often. That could be that, your content framework is not good or it needs improvement. But if you've been at this for a while and something's not working, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So let's talk a little bit more about strategy. So planning also allows you to batch create content, right? Like I said, I got about 40 drafts in TikTok right now. Some of you might have noticed, but all of my videos from June 28th till 2 days ago, I was in a green shirt. I filmed all of those in one day because I knew I was going to be on vacation with my kids. I've been having a lot of doctor's appointments, hormones, whatever. So I knew that I was going to be unavailable to film a ton of content. 20 videos yesterday. I plan on filming the other 10 today. That's 30 new pieces of content that I'll put out next month, and it's done. And it's not even August yet. That's because I planned. I have a plan. So when it's all set out, I can film, edit, done. And then every day I just post. You could use a scheduling tool if you want, totally up to you. But when you do plan, once you have your strategy, you can plan. And when you're planning, you should be doing it in these phases. 1, planning. So topics, goals, you should know. What is my goal for this month? Do I want to drive people to my Instagram, grow my following there? Am I trying to get more link clicks and sell my offer? Whatever your goal is, right? Every piece of content you put out should have a goal, period. All right. And your topics. This is what I'm going to talk about. If you're talking about 100 different topics every month, you are confusing the hell out of people. You need topics. Okay. And then all of your content should flare out from them. The next phase of planning is your scripting and your writing. This is where you write your captions, your hooks, your scripts. I don't script. I'm off the cuff. I do better that way. But I do write captions for Instagram. Actually, I don't. I transcribe my TikToks and then I cheat and I teach you that in my programs. But regardless, I'm doing the hard work. I'm putting in the video and then I just transcribe my videos. But anyway, scripting and writing, right? So we've planned. Now we go script and write everything. Then we film. When you're able to sit down and film everything at one time, when you do this in phases, it's so much faster. 20 videos in an hour and a half yesterday. And the only reason it took that long is because my husband kept coming in here and talking to me. And I finally had to lock the door. Okay. Editing. Then you move to editing. Don't try to add captions and headlines and all that when you're filming. You're wasting time. When you batch, not only batch create, but batch plan and batch film and batch edit, gold. Okay. It's gold. Just how it is. All right. So you have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. It's the only way you're going to get that time freedom you started for. That's the only way you're going to make more sales. Because how are you going to be creating your offers, answering your DMs, answering your comments, building your funnels, doing all your emails, being the damn CEO of your business if you're spending 3 hours a day filming content? You can't. You got to start running this like a business, not a side hustle. That side hustle word, I don't know. I'm like iffy about it. If you want to be a business owner, because I hate to tell you, when you get the 5 figures, you're no longer a side hustle. You can't make $10,000 a month and tell people it's a side hustle. It just doesn't work. The IRS is going to be like, you lied. You're a business. You owe a lot of money. Okay. So you have to start acting like the CEO of the business and quit calling it a side hustle. All right. So I'm about to answer questions, but I want to give you guys just some information really quick. If you got any value out of today, I am teaching you inside my upcoming masterclass from views to revenue. I am teaching you the strategy. All right. And if you missed it yesterday in my Facebook group, I gave you guys a behind the scenes sneak peek at what that looks like. So stick with me. I'm going to answer questions. But video content in general. Okay. I'm saying video content because that's how I've grown my business. Okay. I've grown to multiple six figures and I use a lot of video content. That's just how it is. But content in general is so much more than hashtags and trending audios. You could slap a pre-trending audio on a shitty ass video and it's not going to go anywhere. That's just how it is. Okay. So in my upcoming masterclass, From Views to Revenue, I am teaching you how to build a strategy. Okay. So if that is something you've been struggling with, this is for you. It's $7. Like it is the cost. My Frappuccinos cost more than this masterclass. I can't believe I'm offering it for $7, but it is what it is. Like I want to help as many people as I can. And I'm teaching you all of the pieces. There are 8 elements to building a strategy. Okay. There are 8 elements and most people don't know them. And I'm going to teach you not only what they are, but give you action steps so that you can build a strategy. Okay. So this isn't fluffy content where I'm like, do this, do this, do that. No, I'm giving you action steps. I also am giving you a Trello board. For those of you that don't know what Trello is, it's incredible. I use it. I love it. I use it in every aspect of my business. But I've created a Trello board for you as well. So not only will it have action steps for all 8 pieces of building your strategy, tell you what to do. It has like checklists, but I'm also giving you templates. I'm giving you free resources to help you. So like behind the scenes type stuff that I do in my business every day to run this multi 6-figure ship. Okay. And then I'm also going to give you lifetime access to the replay. So when you're in the masterclass, you'll get access to my back office, my hub, Socially Awesome Hub. So you'll have lifetime access to the replay. So if that is something that you're interested in, and maybe I had someone that commented on a story this morning that's in Australia. She's like, I can't get on. It's, not my time zone or whatever. It's recorded. So if for some reason you can't be there live, it is recorded. Okay. So if you are on Facebook or Instagram, okay, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can drop the word revenue and we will get you the link. Okay. TikTok, I won't be able to see your comments after this is over. So when we're done, you can go to my stand store and it's right there, my stand store for you to register. $7, $7. I promise you're going to get $7,000 worth of value. No lie, because this is exactly what I've done to grow my business to where it's at. Okay. I don't hold anything back. All right. So, Steph, I will in my stand store. Let me know. Is it the one in my stand store, my application? Okay, perfect. All right. So let me answer the question. So we had a couple questions in my group yesterday. So if you're not in my Facebook group, definitely jump in there. It's absolutely free. It is in my stand store under the free resources tab. Okay. So I had so many things in my stand store that I had to like make a second stand store kind of thing. So when you click the button in my stand store that says favorite tools and resources, it brings you to another stand store that will show you like different tools I use. It's got my free guides, stuff like that. Okay. But in that tab is my Facebook group and you can actually see these slides and things in the replay and all that. All right. So, but I get everything out of my group. So if you're not in there, you want to be in there. I was in my group yesterday and asked them, what questions do you have about video content? So I want to answer this first, and then I'm going to get to all the other questions, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all things. So let's look at this. So one of the questions we got on Facebook yesterday was, how do you show up cheerful, enthusiastic, and excited about your offer when things are not going so well in other aspects of your life? All right. I'm starting to learn that preparing and going big with content creation. And one thing is, okay, I'm not going to read everything, but how do you show up cheerful, enthusiastic, and excited? So I totally get it. I promise you I get it. Everyone's going through something. I think that's one of the things that I tell myself that allows me to show up with some energy. I had severe neck surgery last year. I had discs replaced. I was in serious pain, like the neck brace and all, making content in a neck brace. It was ridiculous. And there were days that I would get up, I would do my live training like I'm doing right now, and then I would cry as soon as I hit in stream because I was in so much pain sitting here at my desk, but I had to show up. So I think part of it is, one, what motivates you about your offer? For me, it's impact over income, always. I would rather have a DM from someone that tells me that what I did helped change their business than I would have a payment notification. It just is what it is. And some people are going to be like, oh, that's bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I love money, but that knows I'm on the right track. And I truly believe, like with my faith, my integrity, that if I'm helping and serving people, that money comes in return. My family's taken care of. We don't stress about money anymore, thankfully. And so for me, I avoid the clickbaity content, all that kind of stuff. Like I said it earlier, I could go viral every day. I know exactly how to go viral. I got videos on my personal account that have hit 1 million views in the last month. All right. More than 1 million views. So I know how to go viral. I know it works. But that's not my goal. My goal is to impact people. So I would say, one, get really rooted in why you're doing what you're doing. If you're not enthusiastic or excited about your offer, you might be in the wrong space. Because I can tell you, even on my worst days, even on days that I'm not feeling myself, everything's going wrong, I love to show up and like brain dump my ideas. I love to, my husband sometimes just take my laptop away. I'm so obsessed with automations and funnels right now that I would sit here and dig into metrics and numbers and make people sick and nauseated. But my point being, get rooted. I know you've got a lot going on in what excites you about your offer. And then just remind yourself of that every single day. For me, it's like I said, impact over income. That's why I do free trainings every week. That's why I have, a lot of free resources for people, because it's impact over income always. So and shoot me a DM, if you want to chat about that. I don't want to read everything out. And you did share it in the comments though. So it can be publicly seen. All right. Bridget said tips on how to actually listen to your client on calls and interpret their actual problem. And then how to use that feedback to tweak your offer to make more aligned sales. Okay. So tips on how to actually listen to your client on calls and interpret their actual problem. So Bridget, my best advice there, if you're someone doing sales calls, questions. So asking them, just like you would on a sales call, you do qualifying questions, you would do the same on a client question. Explain that to me. What does that feel like to you? Tell me a little bit more about that. How does that look like? How does that show up in your life? Asking those questions to get down to what is the actual problem, right? Because if someone showed up on a one-on-one call with me today and they said, well, I'm not getting any followers on TikTok. It's just not working. TikTok hates me. The algorithm hates me. Well, whatever. I hear it all the time. I would say, okay, so what are you doing, right? How many videos are you posting? What are your topics? Have you gotten any feedback? Have you gotten any DMs? What do your metrics look like? I would start asking questions, almost like a gap analysis, right? Ask why 7 times to figure out the real problem. And then find out what it shows up like in their life. Because the second piece of your question said to tweak your offer and make it more aligned with sales. Then part of sales is emotional connection. So asking them, how is it showing life? What does it look like for you on a daily basis with this problem? So that you can turn around and use that for content. You can turn around and use that on your sales pages. You can turn around and use that in your emails. Because if it's showing up for one client, it's probably showing up for all of them. Okay. Nancy said, tips on how to not make it all about me. I catch myself doing that, and trying to make it about my ideal client. Biggest tip here is changing the word I to you. That's the biggest tip. So a lot of times you'll feel uncomfortable doing it at first because you feel accusatory, right? So I did a reel the other day that was like, I hit X amount of months, blah, 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 whatever. And it was about me. And I flipped it and did a point of view, you, da, 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 da. Well, what that does is that helps people self-identify. So even if that's not where they are currently, because that's the reason most people avoid doing it, is they feel like it's accusatory. Like I'm accusing you of especially if it's a negative hook, right? So flipping the word I to you. Another example of that would be if you are creating content that is about your journey or about your story. Like, here's exactly how I got to 72,000 followers on TikTok in the last months. Flip that to say, here's exactly how you can get to blank, right? So it is still your story, it is still your journey, and you'll want to put that in there. You'll want to say something like, you're trying to grow on TikTok and you're struggling. Here's exactly what worked for me, and it's going to work for you too. So that way, that builds that authority, that builds that credibility, so they know why they should give a shit. They know why they should listen to you, right? That you know what you're talking about, that you've actually achieved what you're teaching. But it makes them self-identify with your content. Okay. Caitlin says, I'm wanting to move more towards promoting myself as a coach for others in the digital marketing space, but I have no idea how to promote myself since I have gotten used to promoting a course. How do I promote myself? Social proof. The best way to do that is social proof. So one, if you're wanting to coach others, definitely build that program out. You could do a beta program first. You can do, you could reach out to some people you've sold the course to, see if you can coach them for a couple sessions for free to get testimonials, things like that. So develop the program, develop the offer. What is the transformation? And then in your content, you will promote the fact that I've gotten these results and I can help you do the same, right? So it really will be, you'll still do the same thing. Your ideal client's just going to change. So you'll need to go back to the drawing board and what is their problem? What is their desire, right? So whatever you're doing in your program, and then you'll create content to showcase the fact that you have achieved that result and you can do the same with them with your answer, right? And then Denise said, how do you pick what to video? Honestly, I am the laziest content creator on the earth. I'm gonna be real with y'all, okay? Laziest. Like, I don't do a ton of editing. If I got to edit something, I'm like it ruins my day. Okay. That's one reason I do A-roll content so much. I'm showing my cards here, but that's why I show up live. I do A-roll content because one, I'm good at it. But two, I don't have to do a lot of editing. I don't have to add a bunch of colors and all that kind of stuff, right? I don't worry about none of that. Now, if I do B-roll content, a lot of times I'll try to make the video make sense to the actual caption or on-screen text, right? So if it's, here's exactly how I made sales while I was on the plane, then maybe I have a video of me on the plane, right? But there's been points where you might have seen the Instagram reels I posted last week. So I had 4 doctor's appointments last week and didn't have a ton of time to film a bunch of content. So I had actually set up my little face tracker tripod thing that I made a TikTok about while I was cleaning up our condo in Florida. And I let it just film me the whole time. I was like doing dishes and shit. Like, it was the simplest thing ever. But then I made it relatable, right? So point of view, it's Monday, you're headed out the door. Instead of heading out the door to an office to sit at a desk all day, you're now cleaning up the condo from your 5th family vacation for the year. Like, it made sense, right? So just make it make sense. And then you can always do like behind the scenes. So you filming content, you typing out your video on your computer, that kind of stuff. Now, if you're talking about like how to pick what type of video to put out into the world, that's based on your strategy. And I'm going to teach you that inside From Views to Revenue. All right. So let's look at if there's any questions on Instagram. All right. Digital Business Queen is a TikTok girl, but she's watching on Instagram. Hey, welcome. All right. Jen Jorn says, still have trouble with transformation. That is the hardest thing for most people. I will say that for everyone. The transformation is the hardest for most people. A lot of my audience, and I don't like to group everybody in one group, but a lot of my audience, so some of you watching, are in the MRR space, the affiliate marketing space. You might not have your own offer yet. That is where most people struggle with the transformation, because they either haven't had the transformation themselves to be able to sell that transformation, or they're being told to do something different, right? So you really have to sit down. 9 times out of 10, your ideal client is who you were, right? Not who you are right now, but who you were. So you have to really dig deep. It's a lot of like mindset work of, one, who do you want to work with, right? That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur, is you don't have to work with everyone. You get to pick. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there have been some people I'm like, nope, not doing it. Like, you're already needy as hell in my DMs. I don't want to work with you. And I've been like, look, I don't think this is the best place for you. Maybe this is better. Like, of course I do it in a nice way, right? I'm a nice person, but ultimately you get to pick. And so doing that work of not only who do you want to help, how do you want to help them, and what do you know that you can help them achieve? So it really is like that is step one. And I teach a lot about that in my social success club. That's specifically what we work on is your branding, your messaging, which is your transformation, and your offer. Because if you don't have that, you can't possibly create content to convert. Like content should be like step 5, right? You got to do all the back end work first. All right, let me get to the questions on Facebook. Steph said, do you think it's because of a target audience? Let's see. Do you think it's because of a target audience specific too? Like niching down to stay-at-home moms, for example. So I don't think there is such thing as too specific of an audience. I know every coach is going to tell you something different as far as niching, but I'll tell you this. The more specific you are, the more you can charge. Okay. Now, if you're selling MRR or something like that, then you're kind of limited. But if you're having your own offers, the more specific you are, the more you can charge. Because I'll give you an example. If I'm a realtor and I'm wanting a coach that's going to help me start my social media to sell these houses, right? I go find, somebody that's done for you content. I'm like, okay, that might work. I find a business coach that's like, I help online entrepreneurs. And that realtor's like, okay, well, I'm kind of an online entrepreneur. Yeah, like I'm marketing online. They find a business coach that is specifically geared to helping realtors sell houses on Instagram. They're going to pay 5 times more because they know for a fact that you're the person that's going to help them. So I don't think there's any such thing as niching down too much. And when you're niching down, it's more about the transformation, right? And it's more about their psychographics than it is their demographics. Demographics are important because like you're not going to sell a $10,000 program to somebody that makes $10 an hour, more than likely, unless they're really driven and motivated and ready to invest. 9 times 10 you're not. So demographics are important, but it's more about the psychographics. Where are they emotionally? And is your offer, that transformation, correct for them? So when you're niching down, be more focused on the psychographics and where they are, psychologically at that point. What are your content pillars? Educational, motivational, promotional. So my content pillars are more designed towards my offer specifically. So I take out my offer. I know exactly what transformation it provides. And then I go the route of like storytelling, mistakes, objections, point of views. So like actual elements of my offer. So like, sure, like if I had a tree and I said educational, motivational, promotional, everything under educational might be, results, desires, tips, things like that. Under motivational might be point of view, storytelling. So you could all categorize it like that. But when I teach you how to build a strategy, I teach you how to take what's in your offer. What results do you know you can help people get? And then we build out your content strategy from there so that we're showcasing all angles. Because maybe today you saw a reel about, the results that I got that I teach in my academy. And then tomorrow you see an objection style reel about that. And you're like, maybe when you saw the educational one, you're like, yeah, but I don't know if it's for me because of XYZ. Well, then tomorrow I post an objection one and you're like, okay, now I'm sold, right? So you want to highlight different elements of the psychographics of your ideal client for your offer. It's not as simple as just posting tips and tricks and motivational stuff. And Steph, I'll shoot you a DM because I know we changed the application. So I'm wondering if maybe a character got left off, but thank you for letting me know. I'm writing it down, obviously, because I will forget, but I'll shoot you a DM. All right. Perfect. Okay. Now we've got TikTok questions. I'm gonna let you guys go because I'm going to be super late for my call, but I really got in. I'm inviting people to join my live. I'm so sorry. Please don't join. Let me answer these questions. Please make sure that you're registered for the upcoming masterclass. There's only 250 seats, and we already had we were not at half just yet. So usually the closer it gets, the more people get in. But today's the first day of really putting it out there in my content. And then also, if you're not already in the Instagram broadcast channel, I just wanted to let you guys know I do have a broadcast channel. I'm sharing daily trending audios, daily Instagram updates in there for you. So if you want to hop in there, it's free. It is a broadcast channel, so people can't ask questions, which is great because it's not going to blow up your DMs. It's me saying, hey, here's a trending audio. Here's how to use it. Go use it. Like, it's that simple. But every day, right in your inbox, I'm dropping trending audios. And then you guys know Instagram's all kinds of new features. So Brenda said, are you going to post a replay? Yes. So anybody that's watching that wants the replay or wants to see the actual slides themselves, they're in my Facebook group, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. Let's see. Makes 100% sense. Okay, I'm glad it is resonating. Let's talk SEO. So when it comes to SEO, that is going to be super custom to your offer, right? Because you don't want to be too broad in your SEO because then you'll confuse the algorithm. So you need to know specifically the transformation, how you help people, what category, and then it's also going to depend upon the platform. So we'll be covering SEO in the masterclass as well. I'm going to give you some free tools that are going to help you be able to do market research, and part of that is SEO. But TikTok doesn't use the same SEO and categorizations as Instagram. Instagram doesn't use the same as Pinterest. Pinterest doesn't use the same as Facebook. So it's really important that you study each platform individually so that you can, make the most out of your content. And it doesn't mean that your content has to be different on every platform, but you want to optimize it for the platform. So I told you guys, I'm teaching you this in the masterclass, but I'm a cheater when it comes to Instagram, just because I'm not super good at writing captions. That's not my thing. I like to talk more than I like to write. So I transcribe my TikToks and then turn them into captions. And then I make sure they're SEO keyword heavy, all of those things. I'll be teaching all that in the masterclass as well. But that allows me to make sure that when I'm filming on TikTok, I'm using the correct SEO keywords. And then when I bring it over to Instagram, I just optimize it a little bit. All right. Where else are you streaming live? So I am currently live on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And I do have a video in your resources of the masterclass as well to teach you guys how I do that. TikTok, I have to do it on my phone, but everything else is on the computer. All right. Lots of value. Oh, I'm so glad. Facebook search revenue. No. So Linda, if you want to jump in the masterclass, it's in my Stand store, or you can get in my Facebook group. And it's in the links in there. South Africa, welcome. Claudia, the link, the masterclass is called From Views to Revenue, and it's in my Stand store. It should be the top button in my Stand store now. All right, let's see. I need to see one of your videos today. Oh, I'm so glad you did. What about going live without a sale? So if you haven't made any sales yet, that shouldn't stop you from going live. Going live can build trust with your audience faster than anything. When I first started this TikTok account, I was going live almost every single night because I wanted to build a community and I wanted people to trust me because I knew there were so many other people on social media that were just spitting a bunch of jargon. And I wanted to build my credibility, my authority, and I wanted people to trust me. And going live, there's not a whole lot of filtering, right? I probably dropped couple F-bombs today and didn't even realize it, but there's no filtering, there's no editing. It is what it is. So it builds trust and authority faster than anything. And it's so much easier for you to be able to answer questions and your audience answer questions. So even if you haven't made a sale yet, I would absolutely go live very often, as often as you can. For me right now, I go live every single Wednesday at noon. So if you didn't know that, come back next Wednesday, every Wednesday at noon. If I'm not going to be live for some reason, I let you guys know. I either send out an email, make a post in my group. Hey, I'm on vacation this week with my kids. I'm not going live. Something like that. But right now I do my staple live, and then occasionally I'll pop on live just to answer questions and things like that. How many videos a week and how often do you change topics? So I preach to my students they should never have more than 3 topics. Okay, so you have topics and then you have subtopics, and that's part of the strategy. And I'll teach you that in the masterclass as well. But if you have too many topics, you're confusing the hell out of people and they don't even know what you sell, or you're definitely not building authority because you can't be a master of everything, right? You can't be a master of everything. So it's really important that you keep that kind of, in condense. I like to use the campaign method. So if I've got something going on, then I'll keep that topic going for a while. So like right now, obviously I'm registering from a masterclass until it's full. So most of my content for the next 2 weeks is going to be about video, how to make sales with video. And then obviously that might die down a little bit after the masterclass is over, but you need to make sure that your topics align with your offer to sell your offer. If not, you're not going to make sales. And then how many videos a week is totally up to you. So I started on TikTok with this account. I did 3 videos a day, but A-roll content comes naturally to me. I just told you guys I filmed 20 videos in an hour and a half. Like, it takes no time for me. So it's easy for me to be consistent with. I preach to do more in the beginning, in your first 90 days, because you got to get good at creating content. It's a muscle. So if you're only creating 1 video a day for 30 days, that's 30 videos. If you create 3 a day for 30 days, that's 90. You're going to get better faster. Okay. So you're going to speed up that process. But if you can't stay consistent with it, don't do it. You absolutely have to do what you can be consistent with, because again, consistency is rewarded. So that's going to be custom to you. What course do you suggest when starting out, especially wanting to go faceless? It really just depends. Shoot me a DM. I mean, Roadmap's always my go-to course. They've got some changes coming in August. But depending on what you're wanting to learn. So a course might not be the option that you need. It really depends on what are your goals, what do you want to learn, what kind of business do you want to build. But Roadmap is hands down the course that I recommend for anyone that has no information and starting from scratch. Because the type of content you produce isn't gonna be different no matter what, right? It doesn't matter who you are. It's got to be geared towards your audience. All right. Couple more questions. I think that's it. I'm sorry. I accidentally sent a ton of invites on TikTok. Is that for digital marketing? Is what for digital marketing, Corey? What would you talk about if you're brand new and going live, especially if nobody is on? Your story, your journey. Even if no one is on, you need to be talking 24/7, because if people are jumping on and you're just staring at the screen waiting on them to jump on, they're jumping off, right? So I would write yourself bullet points. I would write yourself some notes. I would address everyone that hops on live if that's something that you're struggling. Like if you were, obviously I can't do it when there's 100 people on live, but when you only have a couple, hey, Crystal, thanks for jumping on. We're talking about this, and then just keep going, keep rolling. But I would talk about why you started, what made you start, how you started, what you used to start. When you're live, it's totally different. You're not having to beat the algorithm. So you can be more open about what you're doing, why you're doing it, all of those things. Okay. But I would definitely have yourself an outline or bullet points that you want to make sure that you talk about. That way, if people don't jump on live, you're talking the whole time. If they jump on live, obviously answer their questions. Okay. What is the best course you offer to get started in digital marketing? If you haven't started, you have no experience at all, Roadmap, 100%. You need to get the basics down first. My masterclass is to teach you how to create a video strategy. So you could potentially be in both. The masterclass is only $7, and it could help you with how to, sell your offer. So absolutely, even if you haven't started, this could be for beginners. But if you have no digital marketing experience, you're starting from scratch, get Roadmap. You need to learn how the system works first. All right, guys, that is it. Woo! I cut it close today. I hope to see you all in the masterclass. Again, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you're watching a replay, you can drop revenue. If you're on TikTok, you do have to go to my stand store. I'm sorry, it won't let me drop the link on live, but it's right there at the top of my stand store. It's $7, less than a cup of Frappuccino, and I'm giving you everything you need to build a video strategy that's going to drive sales in your business. So, all right, guys, I will see you next Wednesday. Bye, y'all.